All right, looking at chapter 10, we're focused on motivation and emotion. So our motives are our whys of our behavior, why we think the way we think, why we behave the way we do, why we feel the way that we do. So it's going to be, motivation is our term that's used to explain the force that initiates, sustains, and determines the strength of our efforts towards that specific goal. Your motivation, why do you get up in the morning? Why do you do what you do? Why are you in school? You have more than enough money, you just want to spend it on classes. You have so much time that you just want to do homework, okay? Not really. You probably want a better job. You want a better career. You want a specific thing, and that's why you're willing to do the mundane aspect of homework or to pay for classes. We're motivated by dispositional forces, which are internal factors, and external factors, those situational. Those drive us to do specific things. So I had a student one day that I was working with, and he was talking about how his diet is super strict and he can't eat this because he'll gain some weight or all this stuff. He has an internal factor for his physical plan, okay? That's a dispositional force. He doesn't eat or stray from his diet because his goal is to be physically fit, to be able to be the best, whatever it is he's doing. Whereas maybe my external factor, my situational force, is that I want to eat those things, but because I desire to look a specific way or to be a specific way is the reason I do it rather than because it's my goal. Does that make sense? Like I slip and I fall because of those external factors. So when someone brings pizza, I'll eat it. Or whenever somebody does something different, it may change my factor, my forces, okay? So I'm not as disciplined as him, but my motivation can still be towards the same thing. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Primary drives are going to be where we meet our physiological needs. So you have to have certain needs met. Okay, so you have to have your physiological needs met. Food, water, oxygen, health, all of those have to be met. Now, we sometimes open the fridge and we go to look in at something, we're hungry, and we can't find what we want, so then we close it because there's nothing to eat. That is not a primary drive, that's a secondary drive, because our primary drive is we have to eat to survive, and so that's what we're going to do. Okay, whereas socially, we've learned secondary drives. I don't feel like eating that, I particularly wanted this. Okay, secondary drives are learned, they're social, and they're acquired, and they're developed through personal and social experiences. We have these things we prefer to do. I could eat anything, but I prefer to eat whatever, rather than just the carrots and celery that are in the fridge. Then we also have these psychological needs. We have needs for achievement, power, self-esteem, attention, all of that. And if we're not getting those met, then we're really struggling. I know my family's been going through quite a bit. We had a fire, I'd hurt my foot, my dad had shingles, and my husband was struggling with work, and it just seemed like one thing after another. And we were really struggling. But then we stopped and got a different perspective and realized, okay, we're all okay. We're going to be fine. We're going to make it through. We're very loved. And that helped, but it seemed like our psychological needs were not being met. And so it was really hard for us. So then we stop and we take some time to look at extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. These are the wants or the needs that direct the behavior toward the goal. With extrinsic motivation, we are motivated to do something because of the benefits that we'll get as rewards. So some people exercise to lose weight, not because they enjoy it, but they know they have to exercise to lose weight, therefore they'll exercise. That's extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is we do something because we genuinely enjoy it. We exercise because it's fun, or we sit and read a book, not because it has points tied to it, because it's a grade, because we genuinely enjoy it, and that's what we're doing, okay? The one thing, you have the over-justification effect, and this states that if you have someone who's intrinsically motivated to do something and then you attach an external reward to it or incentive, it's going to decrease that motivation. For instance, my son loves to read. He reads all the time. And when he reads, he reads a chapter book a day. He's just all about it. And so we sign up for the summer reading program every year. And he loves it, but he also doesn't read as much because there's a reward tied to it. And sometimes he gets mad when he's reading and I'm trying to time him. He's like, stop it. And he'll quit reading because I'm timing him. So it's taking away, doing the opposite effect than what it would be doing if someone was externally driven to do it. So William James proposes that the instinct theory of motivation. And this is that our behavior is driven by instincts, which are going to aid in survival. Okay, and that he proposes that the mother will protect her baby because it's her instinct to protect that baby. And so the decisions that she makes, she's motivated to protect that baby. The other would be hunting prey. It's just instinct. I have a dog who is very prey driven, and it doesn't matter what I tell him. If he sees a possum, a squirrel, anything, he's going after it because he's so prey driven. It's an instinct for him to get that prey. And that's what he's saying, that our motivation is just instinct, and that's why we do that, because we're learning that. It's in us. He ignores, the criticism of this is that he ignores the learning and the shaping of humans, because humans are one of the few that are able to actually learn and change their motivation. You have the drive theory of motivation that proposes the maintenance of homeostasis is important in directing behavior, that deviations from homeostasis create that physiological need, resulting in that psychological drive. And so it's trying to get the behavior to meet that need so that we're back at homeostasis. So we're willing to do that. I told you we had a fire at our home. We stay up late every single day. We go back and we clean. We were working all day long, going home, cleaning, doing laundry for hours. From 4 until 11, we would be working on all of that because our motivation was to get our house back where we could live in it again. So we were trying to get back to that homeostasis. And so it emphasizes the role that habit has in it, and that leads you there. So if a behavior successfully reduces a drive, we're more likely to engage in the behavior in the future. We've talked about the arousal theory in the stress chapter, just talking about you need that optimal level of arousal, stress, whatever you want to call it, in order to get things completed in a timely manner without being overwhelmed or bored. Self-efficacy is an individual's belief in their own capability to complete a task. So that's your belief that you can do it. And so Bandura, he says that motivation derives from expectations held about the consequences, and that our abilities will determine what we do and the different goals that we set for ourselves. That we're not going to set goals that aren't going to help us and benefit us. We're going to set goals that are going to help us get to what we believe we can do, which is going to in turn help motivate us to get it done. We have social motives. We have a need to achieve. Really, we don't want to do things unless we're going to be able to accomplish it. We don't want to try to perform something that we know we can't do. We need to affiliate. We need to be have positive interactions with others. We need to feel like we're a part of a group, and we need intimacy. We need deep, meaningful relationships. Some people need more than others, but we need that intimacy, that connection with people. And so Abraham Maslow is a positive psychologist, or a humanistic perspective psychologist that we've talked about before, and he believed that we're motivated by our conscious desire for personal growth. He really believed that we strive to maximize our potential or our best self, and we do this through the hierarchy of needs, starting with this basic need of food, water, shelter, all of that, and then we can move to safety. Once we have our food, water, safety, all of that, and then we get the security, the employment, family, all of that taken care of, then we can focus on love and belongingness. So the first layer, again, food, water, shelter. If you haven't eaten in 3 weeks and I call you and tell you I need you to take your test, you don't care. You think you're going to die, so you don't care about eating. Okay? If you're being attacked, you don't care about making sure you come to school or email me that you're going to be late. Okay? The third layer is love and belongingness. You have this layer right here where you need friends. You need that family. You need that connection with people. And we realize that. We realize that we have to have that. Think about the times when you're trying to tell a story to your friends and you try to tell and then you get interrupted, and then you try to tell again and you get interrupted, and you try to tell a third time. How are you feeling about now? Right. You don't feel good. You don't feel accepted. You don't feel like you belong. You're not going to self-actualize if you don't feel like you belong. So you need to belong before you can strive to be whatever you want to be, which is self-actualization. What you believe you're capable of being is your self-actualization. And then the next level is esteem, right? You need to have a feeling of accomplishment, that positive self-regard, and you have two forms. You have the lower form, which is respect of others. We need to feel respected from other people. And then the higher form is the need for self-respect. If you're not respecting yourself, if you're not following along with your morals, then you're going to be harming your esteem and you're unable to self-actualize. So let's say that you have this bank account and it's your self-esteem account. And every time you do something that morally falls in line with you, you make a deposit. Put those deposit in. But every time you do something that goes against your morals, you do a withdrawal. So you're trying to pass your test for the course and you're not doing well, and you think cheating is wrong. And so you're studying, but you're not really doing well. So you decide you're going to cheat because you need to pass the course. So you cheat, where you take a withdrawal from your bank account. And then you cheat again. That self-respect bank account is empty. And then again, eventually you'll deplete it. So you either have to change your morals or stop doing what you think is wrong. And that will put more deposits back in. So you have to have respect from others and you have to respect yourself. And then, only then, when you have finished all of these, then can you self-actualize. Then can you reach who you were created to be, what you believe you can do. And I love Maslow for that, because it's not about one person can do it better than the other. This is an individual thing, and we go up and down, and we have different areas of this. You may have one for school, and you may have one for sports, and you may have one for church, and you may have one for other relationships. But what you think you can do and where you think you can be are what's moving you and motivating you in this aspect. And then you have your physiological needs for hunger. Hunger is it's a physiological mechanism. Okay, so a part of you, your stomach gets empty, it contracts, it sends those chemical messengers, those neurotransmitters of, hey, I'm feeling hungry, or the blood glucose levels generate that chemical signal, and they say, all right, we need to tell the body that we're hungry, tell the brain. Okay, after you're done eating, you have satiety. Okay, satiation, feeling of fullness, which is an increase in the blood glucose levels, and it sends a signal, okay, I'm done, I'm tired of eating, all of that. Now, these signals are sent, and they tell the brain this, okay? But if we're eating chemicals or we're not listening to it, we'll continue to overeat. Or if we're eating too fast, it takes about 20 minutes for this to get to our body, our brain. So you have to take some time before you keep eating. Okay? And so we use these different things, these different hormones to explain this to our body. When we're eating chemicals like chips or something, it tastes so good our brain can't stop us. We don't overeat on apples or carrots, but we'll overeat on crackers or candy or something because our brain loves those chemicals and it says, I need more, rather than saying, okay, I've had enough, I'm full. So then you have peripheral cues that help you to understand this and central cues that help you there. And then the hypothalamus is the control center for hunger impulses. And there are a couple of reasons why we eat. It's necessary. We have to survive to eat. We use it to socialize, to symbolize family and togetherness. Think about a get-together where you don't eat. They rarely happen with family. We associate food with nurturance. That when someone's sick or had surgery or had a baby, we make them a meal because we want them to know we care for them. Sometimes we eat because we're bored, we're overwhelmed, we're stressed. The reality is that people eat for both physiological and psychological reasons.